with their 5th title in the last 16 years. Congratulations, San Antonio. Would you like to speak with the mayor? Do you have something to say before we get our topic started?
This is all music to my ears.
It's just music to your ears. Is it, sir? Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming out. We really, really appreciate it. So let's talk about next season. Again, as just mentioned, this is your 5th title in over 16 years. The odds makers are already predicting for next season. They say Miami has a 5-2 chance to take it all, followed by the Thunder, 7-1. And then the Spurs, 7-1. So here's the question, Mr. Bayless. Should the Spurs be favored to win next year? Clear your throat so they can hear you.
Stephen A. Smith, you can feel free to accuse me of being a prisoner of a beautiful morning here, a beautiful moment on this morning.
Yes, yes.
I'm already ready to go out on a limb. I say the San Antonio Spurs are going to win their 6th title next year.
Wow.
Thank you.
I can't.
Stephen A., the harder I look at this roster, the more I think the Spurs should be favored to win it all next year. Tim Duncan all but said he is coming back last night. And again, I don't think he's ever protected the rim any better than he protected it in these NBA Finals. I said for the last 3 months, Manu Ginobili is playing 5 years younger than he was at this time last year, and I see no reason to doubt that he can't play that young next year. He made so many big plays and so many big shots even in these finals. Remember, Tony Parker last offseason led France to the Eurobasket Championship, took a lot out of his body. He was nicked up all season long because of no offseason last year. He will have an offseason of rest this time going into next year. 2 key unrestricted free agents, Boris Diaw, who was key to this finals, and Patty Mills. I believe that they so love being a Spur and playing for Greg Popovich that they will figure a way to get those 2 guys back in the fold. 2 key pieces. And if they can figure that out, maybe they'll lose Matt Bonner. God bless Matt. He's been a great Spur. I assume he won't be back next year. But again, I think that R.C. Buford can finagle this roster around a 22-year-old Kawhi Leonard, who will only get better next year. I can see no reason why the Spurs shouldn't be favored to not only win the better West, but to win the NBA championship.
Skip with the prediction. 6 titles. All right, back to back.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'm not going to go as far as you went. I definitely think that the Spurs should be the favorites, but I think that you need to monitor 2 situations. The unrestricted status of both Boris Diaw and Patty Mills. You have to look at that and also look at the tree that San Antonio has created in terms of its tentacles, its branches. Budenholzer in Atlanta, Brown in Philadelphia, a guy like Patty Mills that's really shined in the Spurs system. You know, at some point in time, you've got to get your money too. And the Spurs may not have it to give, but those 2, which are extensions of San Antonio's pedigree. Budenholzer was in attendance last night. I'm not sure Brown was, but you got to believe that they're going to come. One of them are going to come for a Patty Mills. If you lose a Patty Mills, then all of a sudden the priority is to get a backup for Tony Parker. Because Tony Parker, even when he hasn't had, you know, participation in EuroLeague play or whatever the case may be, you know, he does get nicked up a little bit. He hasn't been 100%, and there are times where, like you say, dribble. That's Tony Parker. And so you're going to need something else. So even though I think that the San Antonio Spurs should be the favorites, I don't anticipate that Manu Ginobili is going to look as good next year as he did this year. I don't think he'll look any better at this age than he did this year.
You just called him out again.
No,
you're going to pay for that.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not calling him out. I'm in no position to call Manu Ginobili out. He was fantastic throughout these playoffs. I'm simply saying that he's older. Father Time is undefeated. And so when I look at him and I look at Tim Duncan, they're playing at an elite level. Even if they took a step back, it would still be good enough. I'm simply saying that what you saw, you shouldn't anticipate that you're going to see it to this level again next year. Oklahoma City, I'm not sold on them because they need an interior presence offensively. And the Clippers, DeAndre Jordan's got to learn how to hit free throws.
Yep.
But outside of that, I look at the East, and again, I think there are going to be a lot of questions, and I don't know what type of team Miami is going to have. So I'm not going with them as the favorites. I think San Antonio should be the favorites. I'm just not sure if they're going to win it all. I got to wait to see how the offseason unfolds.
When I think of Patty Mills, I'm reminded of what J.J. Barea did after he was so pivotal to the Dallas win over these Heat. Remember in 2011?
Yeah. He left.
He got his big deal to go to Minnesota. I wonder, does he look back and regret that at all? Maybe he wasn't that happy playing for the Mavericks. Patty Mills loves it here. He loves these people, and they love him. So there's got to be some hometown discount, a little bit.
I'm not saying there's no hometown discount. There's something to be said for being happy. Where you're at, who you work with, going to work every day, that's important. But you have to remember that there's a short window of opportunity for a professional athlete to make their money. And it's one thing for Tim Duncan to sit there and say, well, you know what, I'm going to make my $10.4 million. I'll exercise my player option. It's no big deal because he's made a lot of money over his career. The Manu Ginobili's and Tony Parker's, same thing, even though they've taken discount. A guy like Patty Mills, you're basically a role player that shined in a big moment. There's one opportunity for you to get your money, and it will never be better than it is today. He's got to get paid. So let's keep that in mind and just put that in perspective.
Are you rooting for Patty to leave?
No. He didn't,
no.
He didn't say that.
You keep reaching. I'm
Mayor.
sorry. You know, what's pathetic about you reaching so much is that you really don't need to. You got all your people around you, and you still reach.
You got your back up. You got your back up.
Still reach.
Okay.
It's the only place in America he'll hear this chant.
Yes,
Let him have it.
We'll have it throughout the show. You guys talk about the Spurs future. There's somebody who can possibly give us some insight into that. He helped bring you guys one